Hey guys, Nick here, and today we will be getting into Shane going back into his old ways and whether it will severely hurt the group or majorly help them. This is part 9 to this awesome remake of What If Rick Spared Shane. Now let's get into the video. We open up after Shane beats the ever-loving tar out of Pete, and Deanna listens to what everybody has to say, but does not go through with killing him. Afterwards, Shane understandably feels like he is completely thrown out of the equation, so to speak, and decides to take matters into his own hands. But of course, he has to play the part, because he knew how to do that back when Randall was a thing. So he goes to Deanna and talks to her, saying that he's sorry about what happened earlier and everything else, and that he just wants to take a patrol by Pete's now new place to make sure he's not doing anything out of the ordinary. Deanna, while heavily suspicious of this, agrees and accepts Shane's apology, but she just fell right into his hands. Meanwhile, Michonne and Rick are walking on their patrols, and Lori being the counsel, she's with Deanna. You're wondering why Rick and Michonne are here, not like Rick and Lori. But Michonne feels that there's something odd, and it doesn't feel right. And she decides to go back to her and Shane's place to see if he's okay. And the interior looks as though any Alexandria place would look, but there's one thing missing. In the Alexandria house where Shane and Michonne are at, there's a gun holder, sort of like Michonne had for her sword, because she had a holder for her sword when she held it up for good, or, when she thought she was holding it up for good. But there's a gun holder for Shane's favorite shotgun, and the holder is empty. Michonne is really not liking this, because this means either one of two major things. Either Shane has gone outside the walls to try and make sure that there are no zombies that could breach the walls, or he's taken matters into his own hands to go after Pete. And the second option feels much more justified, and she goes to go and look for him. Meanwhile, at Pete's new place where he was seen originally after the whole thing in the canon story, when Carol threatened him, he hears a knock at his door, and when he opens it up, he is met with a very frightening scene. Shane is right at the door and holds his shotgun, telling him to get inside the house or he will shoot. After Pete reluctantly does so, Shane slams the door, because he's not really in control of his emotions right now, because we all know who Shane was. And after slamming the door, Shane gets ready to shoot Pete, showing that he means business. But instead of being terrified at this, Pete just smirks and eggs Shane on even more, saying that he won't really shoot him. He knows that he's not going to shoot him, because if he does, everyone's going to hear it. He's going to get ratted out and possibly kicked out of the community. Or worse yet, someone will kill him too. And then Pete goes to pull a little bit of a Season 9 Negan, saying that him and Shane aren't too much different from each other. They both want things done a certain way, and they're both alike in that regard. And that if they were to team up in some way, shape, or form, they could get Alexandria to listen to them. And this is sort of a listen to me situation, even though he's getting the gun held at him. It's really a peculiar situation, and Shane ain't buying it one bit. Because Shane was a cop, he knows about these kinds of situations all too well, even if his mind is kind of fraggled. And just before Shane's really getting ready to shoot him, he stops. He's not doing this because he thinks that Pete's right. He's doing this because he remembers what happened with Randall and how it almost cost him his life and his place in the group. And if he does this now, he's throwing that all behind. And he can't let the emotions that he had once before get in the way of what he has now. So, he begins to walk out the door, but not before landing a heavy right cross straight to Pete's face, showing that even though he's not going to kill him, he's still going to hurt him, and Pete can't do anything to him. He knows that much by now, and that'll leave him a nasty bruise on his face. Afterwards, Michonne, walking up close to where Pete's house is, sees Shane walking out of the house with his gun and asks him, "What's going on? Did you kill Pete?" And kind of being on the defensive side and precautious side. And also concerned because, they're together. Shane smiles and says that Pete's alright in there and that he wanted to make absolute sure that Pete got the memo that even if he's living, he's going to abide by everybody's rules. Michonne, while also heavily suspicious like Deanna, decides to accept this because they're together and everything else, and she trusts him. But she's still going to keep an eye out. Daryl and Aaron go on their little journey with Merle in tow. So the zombies that they find in the trucks and everything and all around are much easier to get through. And when Morgan shows up, they're able to take down a good majority of them. But for how many that there were, I don't see all of them being taken out, even if there's 4 of them. So they still all get out of it, but they're not going to take out all the zombies there. Anyway, Deanna does still have a meeting, but it's not about kicking Shane out. It's not about kicking Pete out, and it's not about kicking Rick out. It's not about kicking anybody out. It's about what Gabriel had said to her earlier on. Because remember, Gabriel still ratted out the group, but it was under different circumstances because the cannibals were killed earlier on. And she says this, and Gabriel's here this time because he is not as emotionally scarred from the group as his canon counterpart. But when he's there to hear Deanna kind of rat him out, this kind of puts Gabriel in a really bad situation. Because now the entire group knows, and it's not too well for Gabriel's case. He tries to plead his case and says that he knows better now and that the group wants to look out for each other. But the group already had to deal with some of Gabriel's lies back at the church. And though it wasn't as severe as before, it's still a pretty significant lie. But before Rick or anyone else has time to speak or act, Gabriel clutches his stomach and falls to the ground. A weapon has pierced straight through his chest. And what is this weapon, you might ask? Who did this? Well, it was a sword. A sword pierced straight through Father Gabriel's chest. And after it pulls itself out, Father Gabriel gasps and falls to the ground. Him getting a death similar to the governor's canon death. It was Pete clutching Michonne's blade from Michonne and Shane's house, standing angrily and triumphantly over Father Gabriel's dying body. That's right, I really did this, because I felt that the situation for Father Gabriel this time, and for the meeting, would ultimately mean that Father Gabriel would be ratted out, basically. So, the person that you saw survive to Season 11 and the finale in the canon story just got himself iced in Season 5, or the end of Season 5, if that's how you really want to put it. So yeah, no more Father Gabriel. It's a big twist for anyone who didn't see that coming. And since it took a bit of time and the meeting was different and under different circumstances, Daryl, Merle, Aaron, and Morgan all show up just when this happens. Good enough timing for Daryl to pop off an arrow with his crossbow straight into Pete's head. But unfortunately, Father Gabriel still dies because it was a sword jammed straight through his torso. So yeah. Shane, after this, obviously is completely angry at this and says that basically this proves his point, that Pete was a menace and that he should have killed him when he was over there when he had the chance. And after hearing this, understandably, everyone is shocked by this. But the main three are Deanna, Michonne, obviously, because she was in close proximity, and Rick most of all. So they all rat Shane out now and tell him, you knew about this, you went to go and kill him, and honestly, if Shane had gone through with killing Pete, sure, that might have put him in low regards to some people in the group, but it would have saved Father Gabriel's life possibly. Sure, they probably would have still been mad at him, but it would have been better than Pete killing him. And Morgan is seeing firsthand the ruthlessness of Pete and some people in the group, and Shane especially. After everyone lets their feelings out, Deanna is the first to truly speak and says that Shane needs to leave. He's done far too much. First, he beats up Pete to within an inch of his life. Then he goes and lies about going to check on Pete and almost kills him. And now that's resulted in Father Gabriel's death. Shane just kind of nervously smiles at this and looks all around the group, asking everybody if they really think that Shane needs to leave, that they're really going to kick him out after everything that he's done for the group, and if they're really going to go through with making him leave. But no one says a word. But Rick pulls out a gun and gives him that same serious stare that he did when he kicked Shane out the first time, showing that he too isn't messing around. And then he begins to speak, saying that Shane had a chance to change his ways, and that he wanted him to come back and be true brothers again, but he blew it. Everything was set in stone, and because of this, Father Gabriel has died, and Shane has lost any kind of trust that he might have had with the group. So, there's no other option. Shane has to leave. Either that, or he'll kill him right now. Shane feels that he's being put into a predicament the same way that he was whenever when he staged the whole Randall thing and almost killed Rick. And he honestly doesn't know how to feel about this. He's seemingly been betrayed by everybody. But this is when his anger and his savagery begins to show. He begins to give that same look that he gave Dale and everybody else back when he was out of his mind, and says to everyone that they will regret this, especially Rick. But before leaving the walls of Alexandria, he gives everybody in the group a big, menacing stare, and with that, grabs everything at his disposal, his shotgun, his favorite pistol, and walks out. What will happen now that Shane has been kicked from the group and Father Gabriel has died? And what will happen now that Daryl has been the one to put out Pete's lights? That's where we're going to be leaving things for the moment. I hope that you guys truly enjoy this episode and have been enjoying the series in general. And let me know your thoughts on what will happen to Shane and where he will end up. And what will happen to the rest of the story with so many changes. But anyways, I truly hope that you guys enjoyed this part, and I'll see you guys next time.